Abiyah, we thank you for this Shabbat that we come together during this time. It's actually Sukkot time frame. We thank you that you have been with us always, guiding and directing us in this actual tent of a body that we're in. We are yours. We belong to you. We're here on this earth that also belongs to you, learning to do your will and purposes, enduring to the end through all the tests and trials of this life. May we get closer and closer to you as we walk, talk of you. We are learning more and more about you. May you open us up so that we learn about ourselves and the purpose that you've made us for, so that we can be honorable towards your will and we can do your will always. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Fam, Miss Paka.
Yeah. All right. So I did yeah, that's right. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Young up.
All right. So what I did, did I close it out? Hopefully I didn't. I think I closed out what I had. I'm gonna have to go get it in.
Dig it out.
Because I had some information down.
Mm-hmm.
See, I closed it all out. Well, anyway, we can go back and get it.
Get it.
I don't know how I did that though. Because I had stuff prepared to deal with. But anyway, I'm gonna rough draft it. Let me see if I can.
Hey, Papa.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Well, since we're dealing with Sukkot, we're gonna look up the word Sukkah, which is the root. And also I had up some text.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go back and get it up. I hate that I closed that out by accident. But
me too.
Yeah, it happens. Well, anyway, me and my family, we actually been reading Genesis.
Okay.
And so Genesis 32, which it correlates perfectly with Jasher 32. You know, you got the meeting of Yaakov or Jacob and Esau.
Mm-hmm.
So it's after haven't seen each other in a while, and of course Esau is intending to come and get his revenge. That's his purpose. But in that situation, Yaakov basically sets up his family in sections so that if Esau encounters them, if he get at one, the other can escape.
Right.
So he break it down. And so in Jasher, it kind of shows where Yaakov prayed and angels, messengers, basically met up with Esau, and it looked like basically a large troop of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually angels, and they basically put a little fear in Esau, shook him up, because he only came with like 400 people, and it looked like it was like 5,000 coming. And so that came like multiple droves. It happened once, then it happened again, and so each time Esau at first was getting angrier, but then when he kept seeing the numbers keep growing, in the end he was like, okay, I better humble myself. Mm-hmm. So when he did finally hook up with Yaakov, he kind of his temperament was a little bit, it wasn't that angered, and so Yaakov had wrestled with the representative of Yah. It says he wrestled with Elohim, but the fact that he was going almost equal level with whoever he was wrestling, to the point that who he was wrestling had to touch the sinew of him, and that's how it got advantage of him. Mm-hmm. And he like, what's your name? No, what's your name? And so they basically had a little discussion on what's name, and so that's when Yaakov got his name changed to Israel. So meet up with Esau, have the conversation. Esau like, well, we can, journey back together. He like, no, I got so many people. Let me break this up, and I'll be there. You go ahead, and I'll be there. So in the process of going supposedly back to his father's land, he ends up having to build Sukkot, or he went through the land. They labeled it Sukkot, but it was actually labeled after he was there, and they built up Sukkot to dwell in, booths or tabernacles. So, let me go.
And this is in Jasher.
No, this is actually in Genesis 33. It's right after 32.
Okay.
So let me at least put this on the screen for the second, and just so it's there. Screen share. But the term or the word is okay. Is sharing screen. Sukkah, and that's H5520 or Hebrew 5520. It's a tabernacle, booth, pavilion, cottage, covert. Thicket, covert, booth, thicket, a booth, a rude or temporary shelter. And so, just basically brushing down what it is. And so, let me see. I'm gonna go over here and go to Genesis 33.
Okay.
So, question.
Go ahead.
With the sukkahs, was it just for people to eat in during the feast,
or they dwelled in it? Get Creig's hat, because we don't want nothing to get on that white hat. Just flip it over here, because we know them hands of children. But yeah, it was to actually it was like a temporary dwelling place, like a tent would be or whatever. It wasn't supposed to be for long term. It's like they were traveling, and so it was like, we set up something for the moment, and then it's something we can easily erect and take away and move somewhere else. And it's kind of like, this is before the children of Israel, but that's what they had to do when they were in the desert, because they didn't have new clothing. They didn't have any like solid structures. Like right now, we're in a solid dwelling place. This can't really be moved. I was reading something else also in Nehemiah where it was showing how basically after the time of Yahushua, the disciple of Moses, that they didn't really do Sukkot for a while. They hadn't did it because they had basically a permanent place. And so right now, and then when they went in bondage, of course, they didn't have any control over what they were doing as far as dwelling. They had to be where the people put them, so they didn't do Sukkot then either. So it's interesting. During the time of bondage, which we are kind of in now, it was not really like a mandate. I'm not trying to deter anybody from doing it now, but some people be trying to make it like if you don't do it now, you in sin, or like you almost in doom of going to hell because you ain't doing the feast. And it's like, I believe a person should do what their conviction is, but I think sometimes we impress on people too harsh a judgment because you're not doing this, you're not doing that, when y'all may not have moved them to do it yet. They're getting there, but anyway, let's go back over here. Bereshit 33, and I'm gonna just start from 1 and read.
Okay. Make sure I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It says, and Yaakov lifted his eyes and looked and saw Esau coming, and with him 400 men. And he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 female servants. And he put the female servants and their children in front, and Leah and her children behind, and Rahel and Joseph last. And he himself passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. You need to stop moving, young man. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes and saw the woman and children and said, "Who are these with you?" And he said, "The children whom Elohim has favored your servant." Then the female servants came near, they and their children, and bowed themselves. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed themselves. And Joseph and Rahel came near, and they bowed themselves. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "To find favor in the eyes of my master." So he humbling himself to Esau, because again, when he heard that Esau was coming and he had these 400 men, he wasn't coming to greet a brother. He was coming as dealing with an adversary. But of course, all of that stuff that happened in Jasher, it humbled him. So if you get time, Jasher 32, read them back to back, and it's like, woo. But okay. But Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours." So I don't need none of your goods. And Yaakov said, "No, please. If I have now found favor in your eyes, then receive my present from my hand, because I have seen your face like seeing the face of Elohim, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because Elohim has favored me, because I have all I need." And he urged him, and he took it. And he said, "Let us depart and go, and let me go before you." But he said to him, "My master knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock shall die. Please let my master go before his servant, and let me lead on slowly according to the pace of the livestock that go before me, and according to the pace of the children, until I come to my master in Seir." And Esau said, "Please let me leave with you some of the people who are with me." But he said, "Why this? Let me find favor in the eyes of my master." And Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Yaakov set out to Sukkot. I don't believe that was the name of that town, but that's what he ended up labeling it. I don't believe that was the original name, but I could be in error. And built himself a house and made booths for his livestock. That is why the name of the place is called Sukkot. So, is right there explaining that it was called that because of that, but before he got there, none of that stuff had happened. So that's why I believe that place got that name, because he actually stopped there. Most of the time when Jacob, Yaakov, when Abraham stopped somewhere, they labeled the place, according to what Yah showed them. And a lot of times it didn't match up with what the people before had said, but we have authority over the, we said Israel is supposed to have authority over the earth, but I know that's a bothersome thing for some folks. But anyway, and Yaakov came safely to the city of Shechem, which was the land of Canaan, when he came from Paddan Aram, and he pitched his tent. And that would also tent would be almost similar to Sukkot before the city. Right. And so, it's only 2 verses left, so let me read it all anyway. And he brought the portion of the field where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 quesita. And he set a slaughter place there and called it El Yisrael, Elohe. But and we already know, well, we read it in the past and know who Shechem is. So this is before they encountered Shechem and all of that stuff. But Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So let me see. I think,
So
go ahead.
how do, in your summation, did the two nations are at odds now when they had come together then? How did we get so at odds with Esau?
Well, you got to remember, Esau made a promise that he was gonna kill his brother, and he intended on doing it here, but there was some divine intervention that occurred
Mm-hmm.
because before this, this set out. If we go back, let me just go back to Genesis 32, and you'll see at the very beginning it mentions that Yaakov went on his way and the messengers of Elohim met him. And when Yaakov saw them, he said, "This is the camp of Elohim." And he called the name of the place Mahanaim. And Yaakov sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir. So it sounds like when you read it, that he sent people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you read in Jasher, it was actually angels. So he prayed, and because he like, I'm finna encounter my brother. And the last time they dealt with each other, his brother told him, I'm killing you. That was his whole mode, and that's why the fathers, got tricked to sending him away by the mother, because like, okay, I want to save his life. Let me send him.
Mm-hmm.
So send him to my brother's house so he can find a bride. And so Esau always intended before my dad when my dad dies, I'm gonna basically I'm gonna comfort myself by killing him.
Mm-hmm.
And so his dad still ain't dead here, but he like, okay, I'm finna meet him and I'm gonna get him. And that's what the whole, Jasher is talking about. And so he bring them 400 men. And so when he encountered the first group, it's like 5,000. He's like, whoa. And then, it's like, because if I had Jasher on here, I would pull it up, but I could pull it up on my phone. Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. It's interesting. Jasher 32. And it's great that they both 32, right? They both write the same thing. But yeah, I like rabbit trails. Most people don't, but I do.
Oh yeah.
So you got it, or you
Jasher 32.
mm-hmm. And so I'm gonna just read from one.
Okay.
Let me see. I can go ahead and stop that share. It says, and at that time, Jacob sent messengers to his brother Esau toward the land of Seir, and he spoke to him words of supplication. So it's using the same words, almost exact verbatim as Genesis 32 right there. And he's sending his words of supplication. So I'm gonna just put the definition of supplication. I know what it means, but let's put it on the screen at least, because yeah, supplication. Let me see. That look like that'll work. It ain't I ain't gonna use the biblical definition, but it's still similar to the biblical definition. All right. It says the act of supplicating or entreating, humble and earnest petition or prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Petition, earnest or humble request. And I don't care nothing about Rome, but I'm gonna read it anyway. In ancient Rome, a solemnization or ceremonial address to the gods, decreed either on occasions of victory or of times of public danger or distress.
Mm-hmm.
But even in Christianity, I learned prayer should come with thanksgiving, adoration, and supplication.
Mm-hmm.
So basically an appeasement to the Most High.
Right.
And so he was trying to appease to his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so that he was like, I don't want no smoke with basically, like, literally, I don't want no smoke with Esau. That's my brother. And he had a little fear, probably, or a little trepidation. But then verse 2, and he commanded them, saying, thus shall ye say to my, it says my Lord, so my master to Esau, thus saith thy servant Jacob, let not my master imagine that my father's blessing with which he did bless me has proved beneficial to me. So he like, look, I done went through all of this in Laban's house. I've been his servant here. So, yeah, I got that blessing, but I've been going through struggle.
Mhm.
I've been going through stress and turmoil. I'm like, it's 20 some years done passed. And, yeah, I got some things, but I had to go through all of this. So don't look at what my father blessed me. Like that gave me all this great favor. I got juked and tricked and stuff like
It didn't
that.
come easy.
Yeah. For I have been these 20 years with Laban, and he deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, as it has all been already told unto my master. He's like, you already heard about this.
Mhm.
And I served him in his house very laboriously. And Yah afterward saw my affliction, my labor, and the work of my hands, and he caused me to find grace and favor in his sight. So yeah, he's like, yeah, I increased. But after I'm like, he tricked me to have me marry this lazy-eyed woman. Yeah, she the twin of the woman I wanted, but her eyes ain't, you're like, the woman look how fine this one is, and this one, yeah, her body, but look at her face. She got a butter face. No, let me stop.
Yeah.
Everything but her face look good. Let me see. Let me see. And afterward, through Yah's great mercy and kindness, acquired oxen and asses and cattle and men service and maid service. And now I'm coming to my land and my home, to my father and mother who are in the land of Canaan. And I have sent to my master, know all that, and I have sent to let my master, let Esau know all this in order to find favor in the sight of my master, so that he may not imagine that I have of myself obtained wealth, or that blessing with which my father blessed me has benefited me. And so, and those messengers went to Esau and found him on the borders of the land of Edom, going toward Jacob, and 400 men of the children of Seir, the Horite, were standing with drawn swords. So they meant him evil. They wasn't. And the messenger of Jacob told Esau all the words that Jacob had spoken to them concerning Esau. So right now, it definitely sounds like a messenger, like a person.
Mhm.
And Esau answered them with pride and contempt and said unto them, surely I have heard, and truly it has been told unto me what Jacob has done to Laban, who exalted him in his house and gave him his daughters for wives, and he begot sons and daughters, and abundantly increased in wealth and riches in Laban's house through his means. And when he saw that his wealth was abundant and his riches great, he fled with all belonging to him from Laban's house, and he led Laban's daughters away from the face of their father as captives, taken by the sword, without telling him of it. And not only to Laban has Jacob done thus, but also unto me has he done so, as he twice supplanted me. And shall I be silent? Now therefore I have this day come with my camps to meet him, and I will do unto him according to the desire of my heart. And the messengers returned and came to Jacob and said unto him, we came to thy brother, to Esau, and we told him all thy words, and thus has he answered us. And behold, he cometh to meet thee with 400 men. Now then, know and see what thou shalt do, and pray before Yah to deliver thee from him. And when he heard the words of his brother, which he had spoken to the messengers of Jacob, Jacob was greatly afraid, and he was distressed. And Jacob prayed to Yahuwah, his El, and he said, O Yah, sovereign of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, thou didst say unto me when I went away from my father's house, saying, I am Yahuwah, El of thy father, Abraham, and Yah of Isaac. Unto thee do I give this land, and thy seed after thee, and I will make thy seed as the stars of heaven, and thou shalt spread forth to the four sides of heaven, and in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And thou didst establish thy words, and didst give unto me riches and children and cattle, as the utmost wishes of my heart didst thou give unto thy servant. Thou didst give unto me all that I asked from thee, so that I lacked nothing. And thou didst afterwards say unto me, return to thy parents and to thy birthplace, and I will still do well with thee. And now that I have come, and thou didst deliver me from Laban, I shall fall in the hands of Esau, who will slay me, yea, together with the mothers of my children. Now therefore, O Yah-el, deliver me, I pray thee, also from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am greatly afraid of him. And if there is no righteousness in me, do it for the sake of Abraham and my father Isaac. For I know that through kindness and mercy have I acquired this wealth. Now therefore I beseech thee to deliver me this day with thy kindness, and to answer me. And Jacob ceased praying to Yahuwah, and he divided the people that were with him with the flocks and the cattle into two camps, and he gave the half to the care of Damascus, to Damascus the son of Eleazar, Abraham's servant, for a camp with his children, and the other half he gave to the children of his brother Elianas, the son of Eleazar, to be for a camp with his children. And he commanded them, saying, keep yourselves at a distance with your camps, and do not come too near each other. And if Esau come to one camp and slay it, the other camp at a distance from it will escape him. And Jacob tarried there that night, and during the whole night he gave his servants instructions concerning the forces and his children. So you see how it's correlating with the other one. And Jacob heard the prayer, and Yahuwah heard the prayer of Jacob on that day. And Yahuwah then delivered Jacob from the hands of his brother Esau. And Yahuwah sent 3 angels of the angels of heaven, and they went before Esau and came to him. And these angels appeared unto Esau and his people as 2,000 men. So I said 5,000, but 2,000 men riding upon horses, furnished with all sorts of war instruments. And they appeared in the sight of Esau and all his men, to be divided into 4 camps with 4 chiefs to them. So let me see, 2,000. So I had it wrong. I spoke, trying to speak out of memory, you can say stuff wrong. So it's always good to go back to the text yourself. Always. So when you get 2,000 men and you divide it into 4, that's 500 each. So that's still more than his 400 that he had. So still, but it's 2,000. So he broke them into 4 camps. And saying one camp went on, and they found Esau coming with 400 men toward his brother Jacob. And this camp ran toward Esau and his people and terrified them. So you got one angel representing 500, or running towards him, and Esau fell off his horse in alarm, and all his men separated from him in that place, but they were greatly afraid. So yeah. And the whole of the camp shouted after them when they fled from Esau, and all the warlike men answered, saying, surely we are the servants of Jacob. Who is the servant of Yah? And who then can stand against us? So this is what the angels, the Malik, I think that's what is it, Malik? Yeah. Anyway, I got to remember the Hebrew word for angel. I got to work on that. And Esau said unto them, oh, then my master and my brother Jacob is your master, whom I have not seen for these 20 years. And now that I have this day come to see him, do you treat me in this manner? So he talking tough to him. This is Esau talking tough. And then the angels answered him, saying, as Yahuwah liveth, were not Jacob, of whom thou speakest, thy brother, we had not let one remaining from thee and thy people, but only on account of Yaakov we do nothing to them. So they was like, we would have killed y'all. Y'all just like you fell to the ground, you would have been dead on that ground dead.
And now your cool prayed already.
And, you know, and said, and this camp passed from Esau. So that camp of 500 passed Esau and his men and went away. And Esau and his man had gone from them about a league. I don't know how big of a league is, but I would say that's probably a miles or a couple of miles. When the second camp came toward him with all sorts of weapons, and they also did unto Esau as his men as the first camp had done, startled the mess out of them. And when they had left it to go on, behold, the third camp came toward him, and they were all terrified. And Esau fell off the horse, and the whole camp cried out and said, surely we are the servants of Yaakov. Who is the servant of Yah, and who can stand against us? So I'm like, he got 400 men. He already got encountered by 500. And here come another group, and here come another. You know, it's like, he like, whoa, we outnumbered. And Esau again answered them, saying, oh, then, Yaakov, my master, and your master is my brother. And for 20 years, I have not seen his countenance, and hearing this day that he was coming, I went this day to meet him. And do you treat me in this manner? So he still got a little contempt, you know. And they answered him and said unto him, as Yahuwah liveth, were not Yaakov thy brother, as thou didst say, we had not left a remnant from thee and thy men, but on account of Yaakov, whom thou speakest, being thy brother, we will not meddle with thee or thy men. Like, we're gonna give y'all a reprieve. We're gonna give you some mercy. We're gonna not mess with you. And the third camp also passed from them, and he still continued his road with his men toward Yaakov, when the fourth camp came toward him. So this would be the end of the 2000. And they also did unto him as his men, him and his men, as the others had done. And when Esau beheld the evil which the four angels had done to him and to his men, he became greatly afraid of his brother Yaakov. See, he seen them as men, but they letting us know that these was these angels. These four angels showed themselves as these 2,000 broken into four groups. And he became greatly afraid of his brother Yaakov, and he went to meet him in peace. So that humbled him. You know, he had at first he like this nigga. He like I'm still gonna get him, you know. But then the next come, he like, oh, here we go. This, you know, he still. But then when that last one, he like, oh man, I better chill. I ain't trying to get killed. You know, he humbled himself real quick. And Esau concealed his hatred. He concealed his hatred. So he's still, he's still, I ain't
still in there.
It's still there.
He was still in there.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Because he was
answering my question from earlier.
Yeah. Because he was afraid of his life on account of his brother Yaakov. He's like, man, I got 400 dudes, and these dudes already scary than above. And he got 2,000 that he done showed. And this is not including the groups and division that he separated. Okay. So Yaakov, and because he imagined that the four camps that he had lighted upon were Yaakov's servants. So and Yaakov tarried that night with his servants in their camps, and he resolved with his servants to give unto Esau a present from all that he had with him. And so we already, you know, he broke his group down. And from all his property, and Yaakov rose up in the morning, and rest rising, and he and his men, and they chose from amongst the cattle a present for Esau. And this is the amount of the present which Yaakov chose from his flock to give unto his brother Esau. And he selected 240 head from the flocks. And he selected from the camels and asses 30 each. And of the herds, he chose 50 kine. 50 is the same, I think. That's what kine mean, I think. And he put them all in 10 droves, and he placed each sort by itself and he delivered them into the hands of 10 of his servants, each drove by itself. And he commanded them and said unto them, keep yourselves at a distance from each other, and put a space between the droves. And when Esau and those who were with him shall meet you and ask you, saying, whose are you? And whither do you go? And to whom belongeth all this before you? You shall say unto them, we are the servants of Jacob, and we come to meet Esau in peace. And behold, Jacob cometh behind us. And that which is before us is a present sent from Jacob to his brother Esau. And if they shall say unto you, why doth he delay behind you from coming to meet his brother and to see his face? Then you shall say unto them, surely he cometh joyfully, but behind us to meet his brother, for he said, I will appease him with a present that goeth to him, and after this I will see his face, peradventure he will accept of me. So the whole present passed on in the hands of his servant, and went before him on that day, and he lodged that night with his camps by the border of the brook of Jabbok. And he rose up in the midst of the night, and he took his wives and his maidservants and all belonging to him, and he that night passed them over the ford Jabbok. Well, I think I can stop there, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
It's because it's a lot longer, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but it's they correlate with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of get more information, So he could have been men in messengers, but I believe he prayed. But still, you got to go with the text say. Whatever I believe don't matter what the text say, but still, we got off on a rabbit trail from Sukkot, but it's still good, still good. So when he did leave from dealing with Esau went back to Sierra, and he thought that they would journey through there. They went another way. And so going another way, of course, that's where they went through the land that they ended up labeling Sukkot, set up booths and stuff there. And they were there for a little while, moving and stuff like that before they got to go to the homeland of Canaan. So, yeah, but let's go over to, let's go.
It's even a message in this story that when you were reading.
Yeah, go ahead.
About those 4 messengers. And it seemed to not correlate to how we practice our newfound beliefs today. They all had the same message. They all spoke the same words each time.
Each time.
I think we in Israel should all have the same message and speak the same words. We ain't got to speak it identically, but we should have the same outline of what we're trying to get across to the nation. If one nation believe, one group of people believe this, one group of people believe that, we should be on one accord.
I agree, but I'm not. I wouldn't say, but it sounds like it's canceling out.
Yeah,
but no, I'm not meaning to cancel out. The thing comes into play though. We have this thing where we're like, okay, me and you right here. You at my house, but we peers. I don't see myself above you. I don't see you above me. We peers. You have it where people want to be a lead. So whenever you have a person wanting to be a lead, they want what they think and what they say to have more emphasis than what the other. So when it comes to someone saying something, a small disagreement will divide the group.
Yeah, I get that.
And so like even when in Christianity, you had somebody emphasizing baptism, and the other one apostolic, I might be saying the word, they emphasize this, this group emphasized that. And so they both important, but if you put more weight on this and say that's not as important, you're gonna kind of offend that person that thinks that's of importance. And so well, I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna do that. Y'all might still do some of the same things, but of the level of importance that a person give on the one thing will have them guided towards that, and their focus be on that. Like, somebody may be focused on family,
Mhm.
but then the other one focused on wealth building. So all of these different focuses end up dividing people. When it hit the total focus is supposed to be seek ye first
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
kingdom,
Yeah.
but you got too many people trying to, I guess, develop their own personal kingdoms.
Mhm.
And then, our egos, I want my ego stroke, I want my, everybody want their ego stroke.
Mhm.
Everybody do. But some people go out about it in a whole different
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
You know,
That I can see.
one of the biggest things that I loved about reading some of the texts is that it said, let another man praise you.
Right.
And
Right.
but as you see, you can do some of the most gracious things and be such favorable towards, things and never get a praise ever.
Mhm.
And then you see other folks that do even less than what you do get praise.
Mhm.
And that envy and jealousy can come out of that. It shouldn't, but it do.
Mhm.
I'm like, I make shirts. You already know. I could see people that have fluent businesses, and I'm like, man, my shirt's better than that. And I had to beat myself or whoop myself to not, be like, man, why my business struggling? But I kind of know why my business struggling.
Mhm.
Me, my personality. Most people really, when they buying your stuff, they're not really buying your stuff. They buying you.
Mhm.
They don't like you. I don't care how good your stuff is. Most of the time, that ain't everybody like that, but most people, they ain't. If they don't like you, they're not buying into what you have. You know, I'm like, when I look at Kanye stuff, I be like, this stuff ugly than the mud, but people love Kanye, so they buy that stuff no matter how
I say
ugly
the
it is.
same thing.
I ain't never put no money on nothing Kanye. I ain't never bought his album, never bought a song, single, nothing.
Mhm.
But I don't have no hate towards him, but it don't really do nothing for me.
Mhm.
I'm not one that follows popularity, but when you look at majority of people, they go where the light shine the most.
Yeah.
They go towards charisma. They go towards what seems the most polished.
Mhm.
I personally believe that ministry should not have to be packaged like marketing.
Mhm.
Right now, look at how I got this recording. This is all plain. Some people have, if it's not, like, okay, look at you got that picture, you got that shirt there. If it ain't precise and neat and set up a certain way,
Mhm.
I can't watch that.
Mhm.
No matter how good or whatever the information is rejected because it don't look a certain way. It don't sound a certain way.
Mhm.
I feel like the word itself should be enough.
Yeah, that's the focal point.
Like I've never liked hooping.
Me neither.
I never liked those hysterics, but
Mhm.
most people can't listen to preaching that don't have that.
Mhm.
I don't like it myself. I like somebody to just, don't insult my
Yeah,
intelligence.
just speak plainly.
But
For me,
so
just speak plainly.
yeah, so thinking of that, go back to this tent. People get enamored by how the tent look,
Mhm.
not what's in it.
Mhm. Yeah.
You can ride by a house, man, that's a bad house. Go inside that mug, rotted, molded, and everything else.
Mhm.
But the outside of it, man, oh, that's bad. Cars, the flashiest thing. That's one of the things that I don't like about us as a people. When you look at wealth and you see somebody, the flashiest person, they go, oh man, he got money.
Mhm.
But when you look at people that really got money, they be wearing stuff that, like $9 shirts and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
You be like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
had the most basic stuff on, the people that have real wealth.
Mhm.
But we gotta wear it, mouth blinged up, all this stuff like that. And it's like, we put more emphasis on the outside.
Mhm.
And that's we want to go back to the Sukkot. The whole purpose of the Sukkot was to house and protect what. So the most valuable thing was not the Sukkot, it was what's in the Sukkot.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at his family. He
Yes.
valued his family, that the most. And if you even look at the order of how he put stuff out there, Rachel, Rahel, and Joseph was the last one there. They was the last group. The most valuable to him was, that was the one that was closest to, the furthest group, he put them in order of value towards him. But
I like that. It's
yeah.
a code was for our protection.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm like, I don't know. You got a $1 million garage, but you got a Pinto in there. Hey, it's secure.
Yeah.
But let me see. Well, I'm gonna go to where.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm like, sure. When you think about it, I think the whole idea of the Sukkot to me, and I mean, could be wrong. It's a humbling period of time. It's like you getting out of your. I'm bringing you to this. But in the process, look where you came from. Because I'm like, man, when I think about it right now, I go over to my mama house, and I'm like, man, my house way bigger than the house I grew up in. And I'm thinking, but my grandmother who bought that house, she made more money in her lifetime than I made. And it's like, but you kind of live better. It's like the next generation lives better and stuff. And sometimes we don't reflect back on our humble beginnings, like, man, we were able to fit like sometimes 8 people in a house. That was a small house. And now you get a bigger house and you got 4 people and you talking about it's crowded.
Yeah.
I'm like, me and my cousin, it was 3 of us in a bedroom. 3 in the bedroom we shared is smaller than every bedroom in this house. And it was 3 of us, 3 young boys in a bedroom. And we got along, we got along as much as boys can get along.
Right.
But I'm just saying, we 3 of us in a bedroom. Now ain't no sharing no room. Ain't no sharing no house.
We can get back there.
I'm saying I think I shared with you. It was I think I might have been you. Man, it was an Arab family. These brothers, and they basically all married, and they bought a mansion together, and they brought they wives and they mother stayed there too. So they wives and the mother did all of the cooking and all that stuff and maintaining the house. And the guys, they didn't even work they worked minimal jobs, but they pooled all their money together. And so they all had like they own rental properties, they own businesses. Even though they worked at a 9-to-5 job, they actually had access to, because their cars, they had luxury cars, they had Lamborghinis, but they pooled their money. Whenever they did something, they did it together. So they all seen the benefit of it, and I'm like, man, just imagine if we would have did that at 18.
Oh man.
If I wouldn't have put all my money into CDs and stuff like that, I bought almost every music CD. I had over 3,000 CDs. CDs used to cost from $15 to $20. If I'd have put that into a rental house or something back then at 18, I know rentals ain't doing well now, but
they're doing pretty good. They doing pretty good. They ain't doing bad. I just spoke to a young man, and well, let's get back to that. We'll talk about that later.
Talk about later. But man, shoot. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go over here. Just saying, I don't have no regrets that I didn't do this stuff, because I probably wouldn't. If I'd have had money like I imagine, I probably wouldn't know Yah at all.
We're gonna implement me and my son right now. We're gonna pull all our resources together. Do that. Do just that.
Yeah. I definitely probably would know Yah. That's one thing,
And even if I meet a like-minded Hebrew Israelite brother, he can come on in with us. We can build some things.
Well, Leviticus 23, going to verse 30, start at 34, says, Speak to the children of Israel. Well, I can start at 30.
Where we at?
Leviticus 23.
Let me get there.
I'm going to start at 33.
Leviticus.
Just so I can acknowledge who's speaking.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, On the 15th day of this seventh new moon, so that the seventh month is the festival of Sukkot. For 7 days to Yahuwah, on the first day is a set apart gathering. You do no servile work. So that's basically a Sabbath,
Yeah.
a high Sabbath.
Yeah.
For 7 days you bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. On the 8th day there shall be a set apart gathering for you, and you shall bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. It is a closing festival. You do no servile work. So another high Sabbath. You know, these are the appointed times of Yahuwah, which you proclaim as a set apart gathering to bring an offering made by fire to Yahuwah, an ascending offering of a grain offering, a slaughtering, and a drink offering as commanded for every day, besides the Sabbaths of Yahuwah, and besides your gifts, and besides your vows, and besides all your voluntary offerings which you give to Yahuwah. On the 15th day of the seventh new moon, you gather in the fruit of the land, celebrate the festival of Yahuwah for 7 days, and on the first day is a rest, and on the 8th day a rest. And you shall take for yourselves on the first day the fruit of good trees, branches of palm trees, twigs of leafy trees, and willows, and of the streams, and shall rejoice rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim for 7 days.
7 days.
And you shall celebrate it as a festival to Yahuwah for 7 days in the year, a law forever in your generations. Celebrate it in the seventh new moon, 7th month. Dwell in booths for 7 days. All who are native born in Israel dwell in booths, so that your generation know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Mizraim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Thus did Moshe speak of the appointed times of Yahuwah to the children of Israel. So just that plain, just that simple.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So I've never done Sukkot like supposed to. I ain't never been in. So I do eventually want to get to doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, I bought not a tent, but one of those things like you have that me and you put up over your house.
Oh, gazebo.
It's like that, but it's an enclosed one. But shoot, you know how these Michigan weather. I'm like that one year when we bought it, I was gonna put it up, and me and you had talked about it. I had bought it I think it's been about a year or two, and it was so cold and wet that I'm like, ooh.
I did mine last year. It was cold and wet. I did it. I made my tent built my tent in the backyard, made me a fire and got me a heater, and I stayed out there. It takes a little tough skin.
It takes some tough skin.
Yeah, that's for real.
For real.
It got cold out there.
And I'm like, man, I don't know. That's one thing I got to press past, because I'm like, man, I get so sick so easy when it's cold and stuff like that. That's why wintertime I'll be in the house. I work or go in the house. I don't mess around.
You got to build that immune system up during the summer months. Pray about it.
Definitely. I'm like, outdoor stuff is never been me. Camping, not me. But I'm like, shoot, we got to get used to it.
You got to get used to it. Especially get our grandkids, because we may not experience the wilderness experience, but our children may.
You got to get them ready.
Prepared.
That's
know?
why, I'm like, when my wife started the garden, I was like, man, yeah,
Yeah,
only, it's like, man, because you see all of this mess with the food and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get off in the garden, man, next year. The most I live allow me to see next year. I definitely am. I hope I have some things in order by the end.
Mhm. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man,
Mhm.
we got to get accustomed to doing it. Like I
Mhm.
said, it may not be for our generation, but the
Mhm.
generations that come up after, we can get them ready.
Yeah. But that's why I be trying to tell folks. I'm like, I really do believe we're supposed to do these feasts.
Yeah, I know
But
we
but
do.
but the problem is we haven't had to do it, or we've been told, oh, you ain't under the law and all these
Right,
different
right.
things. And so the habit of what we've been doing is more consistent than that. And then also, we don't always have prime example, especially when it's like, okay, the groups are doing it, but you have situations where everybody ain't they're directly connected with a group. So you got to take the initiative to do it yourself.
Right.
And another thing, it's like, okay, I believe all of this is a rehearsal,
Yeah, it is. It is.
and so with a rehearsal, it's like, are you supposed to do it? I'm not trying to say you're not,
Right.
but I feel like sometimes people they put so much pressure on people. They say, if you don't do this, you this, and the person like, well, okay, this and this is happening, and yeah, they making excuses, but they like, it's easier to just say forget it than than put myself out there like that. Like,
Mhm.
okay, my job, oh, I guess I gotta quit my job. It's like, like some people, they put their perfect position up as an example to somebody who's doesn't have everything in line,
Mhm.
and it's like, you don't tell them about any struggle. You should basically show them like, okay, if you work Monday through Friday and that's just been your job for years, you ain't even had to worry about working the Sabbath.
Mhm.
So if somebody who has been working 7 days all the time, you telling them, oh, you shouldn't be working, you never even had to, that has never been something that's been pressed towards you, or you ever made. This has been my consistent thing always with this job. And so I'm gonna just go to them and tell them, well, I ain't doing this no more. So now it's like, I'm bucking against the system or whatever, when you ain't never had to buck against the system because your job has never required you to work it.
Mhm.
It's like,
Right. Right.
you
Like my job. My job never required me to work on the Sabbath, except in the winter months.
yeah,
We have to be there because we got to keep the train moving.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like telling a single man, you know, you need to not have your sexual appetites get the whole best of you
Mhm.
when you got some play right there every night.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I used to be one of the main ones, like, oh man, y'all need to, cut that out. And I'm like, okay, dude, you've been married for over 20 years. You don't know what it's like,
Mhm.
you know. You don't know, how can I talk to a single person about anything
Mhm.
dealing with being single when I don't I've been married more of my life than I've been unmarried.
Mhm.
Because I did two marriage. This marriage is 20 years. The other one's like 5, so 25. And so what? I'm 51. And so you don't count your what 1 through 11. You don't count them for your relationship time. So majority of my life I've been married.
Mhm.
How I'm gonna tell somebody, about being, by themselves,
Mhm.
especially when I was by myself, I was a whore.
Mhm.
I'm like,
Oh yeah.
oh man, you in the faith, you know you shouldn't.
Mhm.
I got somebody I turn over in the bed right next to, I'm gonna tell somebody when somebody just dropped trial to them and say, you better not touch that. It's like, shut up. It, well, it's like telling somebody, that got a full refrigerator. Okay, I got a full refrigerator, and I'm trying to tell somebody that all they homeless, they ain't ate in a week, and the only thing people offer them is hot dogs and stuff with pork. They hungry to the bug,
Right.
and I'm gonna tell them, better not eat that. but I ain't giving them nothing.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
I
Right.
don't know. I know
If you meant to see it, it was meant for you to do something about it.
yeah,
That's how I see it.
yeah.
If I see a need, if I can fulfill that need, I'm gonna do it. You ain't gotta ask me, nothing. I'm just gonna try to do it.
I believe you should tell people the right thing, but sometimes you have to also look at it from their view, more
Yeah,
so
yeah.
because I'm
Right.
like, it's easy to speak from a place of comfort.
Right. It is. It
It's
really is.
I like,
It really is.
oh man, you shouldn't be out there doing that. You shouldn't be robbing nobody. I'm like, shoot, would I if my family hadn't eaten a month, we eating out of trash cans, whatever, and I had an opportunity to see some money dropped or some, would I do that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, the likelihood,
Yes, you would.
because I'm like, I guarantee, well, I can't guarantee, but I'm like, David would not have cheated if he would have been in battle. But that man, he was at home by himself, looking over the balcony, seeing Bathsheba and stuff
Mhm.
like that. He had access to all these different beautiful women, but he at home just chilling and stuff like that. And it's like it would have never been conceived that man would have messed with somebody else's wife because he already had multiple wives.
Mhm.
He the king. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, but he at home chilling by us, you would, it's so many things. You would never know the capability of a person until they get put in a position
Yeah.
where they at.
You got
You
that
know,
right.
I never
Said the
kill
wrong
nobody.
word.
Okay, he touched my daughter.
Right.
You be like, snap. They be like, why'd you do that? I don't know. I done did some stuff in my lifetime that I didn't think I would do until that situation.
Yeah, I have too, buddy.
Like,
I
you-
have too.
yeah,
I really have.
I'm gonna go. Abiyah, we're gonna close this out because we're gonna talk.
Hallelujah.
So Abiyah, we thank you for this Shabbat, this time of fellowship. May those that are enjoying the Sukkot have a clear comprehension of what they're doing, that they can see that shelter is, temporary, just like our body is temporary. This body, I should say, we're gonna get a glorified body in the end. Yes, his kingdom gonna be here on this earth, but we gotta take care of the this physical aspect that we're dealing with, take care of the things we have, but we should not put an emphasis on these things more so than the coming kingdom. Take care of them, but never put them first. Put Yah first. Put his people first. Put his kingdom first. Hallelujah.
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 Shabbat
Glory to the
shalom.
King.
Let me stop that. Yeah.